Warning, the following communications are not authorized. Please disable your signals and report to your local re-education center immediately. Failure to comply will result in immediate reprimand and capital punishment.
We love YouTube. We will never say anything against the algorithm. You guys, welcome Bryson. Welcome Pardes. How is everybody today?
What's up, man?
Amazing.
Jinx.
Let's start off with you, Bryson. You're fresh off a sweet Instagram ban. Any indication as to what it is for?
No, there's zero indication. I can't even log back in. I have no clue what's going on. Granted, I'm a very controversial person, but for the past week, I haven't said anything that was really out of line. I genuinely don't know. But I have my backup account, which is Bryson Creates 2. I doubt I'll get back up to 250,000 followers, but I'm gonna continue spreading God's word regardless. So I don't really care.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of things that you say that would just get you randomly banned from Instagram. The problem I see is hopefully they don't ban. Hopefully you're not banned from everything, like from the whole platform entirely as a person, because I know when they banned other people, they're completely gone. So maybe it's time to start using a fake name.
No, so what you got to do is they ban your IP address, your phone, or whatever. So today, this is my phone, and today I went to go pick up something nice and sweet for situations like this, and I'm gonna have all my backup accounts on my other phone. So that's how I'm doing it.
Pardes, have you been banned from anything?
Not that I know of. I was put in Twitter jail for like a few days because I told someone to eat shit. I don't know if the algorithm's gonna monetize you if I say it, but
it's possible. Anything's possible.
You're already demonetized, bro. So.
Luckily, all the people watch on Twitter for this podcast. The first thing I wanted to talk about, though, you guys, is this new weird article. Anything else you want to mention, though, Bryson, on the front of your ban?
Just my other backup accounts. I don't know. Just know that I don't apologize for anything. I'm not compromising anything. I'm not going back on anything I said. I'm not changing my tone. I may get banned from everything. So just because I get banned from everything, just try to find a way to keep up with me.
Do you have a Telegram?
Oh. I do. Bryson Creates. It's just Bryson Creates. That's my Telegram.
What does your hat say?
My hat, make abortion illegal again.
Oh, okay. I couldn't tell.
When was the last time it was illegal?
The 70s, if I'm not mistaken, and then they made it legal on something fake called Roe v. Wade. But if you look at the person's story, that was a fake story she made up, and she's never got raped by anybody. So,
yeah, that's true. Did you guys know that there are no restrictions at all in Canada on abortions?
No,
zero.
I didn't know that.
How?
Zero restrict. No, I'm not joking. A lot of people don't know this.
Virtual birth abortion.
Right up till it comes out.
What?
The head is coming out, and they can abort.
That's crazy. For any reason.
That's crazy. This just took a turn. I had no idea about that.
Really
Welcome to Canada. That's our national anthem.
You guys it's insane. I was just gonna say though, really quick. It doesn't matter. You could have not said anything. You could have posted nothing for the last 2 weeks, but they'll find something from 2 years ago and find a reason. I just had story posts from my Instagram, story posts that have been disappeared that have for months now that they fact checked and put a false label on that hasn't been visible in over a month. So they'll find anything. It is. Regardless of how good you've been behaving in the last week or so, they'll find something from ages ago.
That's why. No, I was gonna say that's why I'm not surprised, because people think I'm homophobic and transphobic now. But if you go back to my old post, when I claimed to be a Democrat, you don't even want to go see them. So
it's like they put a team of blue-hairs on the file and search for anything they can. So, who is it? The Intercept put out this article, basically hey, look and go hate on these people. Meet the Riot Squad, right-wing reporters whose viral videos are used to smear BLM. So they basically just went through and found people that they don't like. Julio Rosas is one. Jorge Van. Yeah? Where did you guys work together?
In 2 places. One was at IJR, the Independent Journal Review, and another one was Campus Reform. And I think we might have even been together before that, because he did a lot of Leadership Institute stuff. So yeah, what up, Julio? He's great.
Jorge Ventura Media is also on there. Do they name anybody else here that
James
I can quickly...
Klug is on there, who I've worked with. I mean, I consider James Klug a friend of mine. And
oh, there he is. Yeah, right here.
Yeah.
He dared to report on Fox News. Oh my goodness.
Yo, and Klug's crazy, bro. Like, he will be in the belly of the beast making jokes with these people. Like, he goes balls to the wall for sure.
Rosas and Ventura are not household names, but it's important to understand that they're reporting because they're members of an informal club of right-wing video journalists who roam from city to city, feeding conservative media's hunger for images of destruction and violence. Are they hungry for it, Bryson? Or is this literally just what happens?
This is literally their job. They're reporters. I mean, Julio's like really not a biased person.
Listen, nobody wants. Listen, we are deemed. If you are a right winger in any aspect, you are deemed dangerous or all types of stuff. And really, they're just reporting news. But who cares? They're dangerous terrorists. I was called a white nationalist on USA Today. Hey man, I don't know anymore. This is a weird time.
A white person?
Yes, I was literally on the front page of USA Today on their article about white nationalism.
I remember that. I'm going
to try to find that.
I remember that. It wasn't even that long ago. Was that like 6 months ago?
No, less than 6 months. It was like 2 months ago or something.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
The first and most obvious way that some of the Riot Squad, like they've literally given them a name of Riot Squad. Journalists distort realities through selective misleading edits of the footage they shoot. That's never true when these people say this. A protest in Dallas 5 days after Big Papa Floyd was extradited. A core member of the Riot Squad, Elijah Schaefer, is on the Riot Squad too.
That's my boy.
Yeah. Posted a brief clip that showed the brutal beating of a white man by a group of mainly black protesters. So Elijah is one of the only people who went to Portland and Seattle to report on the ground. I think Jorge Ventura was there also because he was reporting for Fox. And they just hate on him they don't want him exposing Antifa. I'm guessing they put Andy No in here. Let's see if they put Andy No. Oh, you better believe it.
Yeah. That's insane.
It's not too. Eric, what were you going to say?
No, well, I mean, look, by today's standards, yeah, these people they're so hard, right? But in their defense, I will say that they have kind of dubbed themselves the Riot Squad, but it was just a joke, right? I think a couple of them went on Timcast or whatever, and they called themselves the Riot Squad. It's just like a funny, alias type of little clique that they have. But I don't think any of them, bro, and no shade to any of them. I think they all do great work, and I've been following pretty much all of them for a long time. But I don't consider any of them like really hard right conservatives. Like some of these kids, like they're just common sense people. I don't think they really hold like deep, long-standing conservative. I could be wrong, but again, that's just how far left everything is gone. That's why Glenn Greenwald, who I believe founded The Intercept, doesn't even work there anymore because they ousted him for reporting on Joe Biden in a way that they didn't like. So it's absolutely insane. And I don't believe any of them to be like super far right. Like
they're not. They're literally. I talk to them all the time. Now I'm someone who you could say will be considered far right, obviously. and I've talked to all of them, and none of them are like far. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't even think I'm far right. If we're basing things off 10 years ago, I would be considered like a normal person. But now understandably, like of course, rightfully so, my views will be considered far right, and none of them have like those far right views. They're more like center right. If anything.
But the Intercept for this USA Today article. There's a New Yorker article about you. Are you familiar with that one?
Yeah, no, you guys type in USA Today, white nationalism, Christianity. I don't know. Hopefully they changed it because I got a bunch of people to report it.
They probably changed it by now. You got to like dig through the archive or something.
Nationalists use Christian symbols.
Yeah. My picture's still on there. See, in the beginning, my picture was when it was first released, it was on the front page and they had my picture. If you go to the article, they still got my picture on there, which I find hilarious.
There you go. These white nationalists, you guys, Jesus as well. Known white nationalist Jesus. Okay, that's enough of that silliness. Let's move on to Mayor de Blasio from New York. Eric sent me this earlier. We're going to play a video of him. He's enticing people to take the mysterious injection. So let's see what he has to say.
You say free fries when you get vaccinated? I got vaccinated. You're saying I could get this? These delicious fries?
Oh my God.
Wait a minute.
This is cringe.
There's also a burger element to this?
You can get fucking fast food, you guys.
Is it too early in the day? This could be breakfast? Okay. I want you to look at this and think about, again, some people love hamburgers, some don't. Really want to respect all ways of life. But if this is appealing to you, just think of this when you think of vaccination. Vaccination.
This is like
how much money did he get for this?
About vaccination right this moment.
Pardes, your reaction to that? Because that's pretty insane. Like, that's in terms of propaganda. You got to be like, this is something you could do.
Yeah, they're using you know those YouTube videos that are like people eating? I forgot what it's called. There's a word for it.
Mukbang.
Oh, what is it? Oh, mukbang?
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, so he's doing that, and he's like trying to make it fun. Everyone, like it's entertainment. I mean, I think it's funny, and I don't even care about the message.
Eric, you're from you lived in New York. What does this rank in terms of de Blasio insanity? Because at this point, it seems like an SNL sketch, equally as unfunny.
I mean, this just proves the lack of prioritizing, right? I mean, you could Google. I remember when we created the Chicago Shootout Challenge.
Oh yeah, we should show Bryson that.
You could just type in New York subway or New York shooting or New York stabbing, and there's going to be something from probably every single day in the last 6 months. And he's talking about giving away cheeseburgers to get a vaccine, and very predictably, who in their right mind didn't see this escalating from wear a mask to now you got to get a vaccine? I mean, people are getting. I'm reading a story just published a couple minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, about a man who slashed somebody on the subway in Queens, and de Blasio is out there talking about get a free cheeseburger. On top of the fact that we already know that most people who die from this virus have been obese, this, that, and the third. So it just begs so many questions about like perhaps some sort of pharmaceutical corruption. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. Of course, we have that weird statue that they just erected in Rock outside of 30 Rock. I mean, okay. Who is this for, right? Who was on the fence? Who was on the fence that were saying like, you know what? I'm thinking about it. I might do it. And now I can get a cheeseburger that's gonna, it's worth maybe $10 or $12 to possibly poison myself for the rest of my life. I just don't know who this is targeting.
We went over the list of things you can get a couple weeks ago, didn't we? It was a milkshake, fries, burger, it was a whole donuts, of course. I think there was like an oil change in there. Beer was another one. I just noticed when I was looking up this, New York Post has a stabbings tag where it's just a list of stabbings. May 12th, May 10th, May 10th, May 10th, May 9th, May 9th, May 6th, May 6th, May 4th. This is Bryson, should we be normal? Should this be as normal as it is?
New Yorkers, I'm definitely not surprised. It's his point. He said who is targeting? It's obviously targeting poor people. They're trying to force poor people. I don't know if people know this, but all the black people I know not getting the vaccine. They're just against this vaccine as I am. They're obviously Black Lives Matter type people. So they're trying to target those people who may be struggling and maybe might need to use that burger to feed themselves or daughter, kids, wife, something. And they're trying to target everybody. It's pure propaganda and it's super cringe, by the way. It's super cringe. I took the vaccine because I had COVID. So I didn't actually take the vaccine. I had a natural one. You get the virus and then your body builds up the natural defense against it. Did you know you can do that? I didn't know people think. I don't know if you know how our bodies work, But yeah, the vaccine is just literally trying to do the same thing with a 50% success rate. So I mean, if you want to go and take and get a vaccine with the needle, then I don't know. That sounds pretty crazy to me.
I did some streeters yesterday, asking people if they would get the vaccine passport, and I had some. If you guys want to go see that Rebel News on Rumble, but because it's not allowed on YouTube, of course, some interesting answers about why people didn't get the vaccine. One guy said a black homeless guy told me that he's a descendant of the royal family, so he's immune. Oh. And another guy said he's gotten it twice, so he's immune. So So a lot of interesting answers. Let's play another clip from New York, and then we'll get your reaction.
Wait, hold on, really quick.
Oh, you want?
No, just really quick. I think this is going to backfire because the one time I've seen in New York that the BLM Antifa mob actually come together with some MAGA people, I'm not even joking. A guy with a MAGA hat and a Black Lives Matter mask was to protest the vaccine. So that might be something that they don't want to. You know, they're poking a bear, bro. But
I'm telling you,
yeah.
It's very scary. You know, you want to feel safe on the train.
Safety concerns in New York City are rising after 4 subway attacks happened yesterday morning within hours.
For months, the MTA and Workers' Union have been calling the city to address the problem.
Do something, please. We are begging you.
Earlier this week, City Hall announced a new commuter program.
Buddy System lets staffers sign up to be paired with a colleague who shares a similar commute. So far, the program is only for city employees and is said to expand to other city agencies in the coming weeks.
Pardes, buddy system or actual police enforcement of, not making sure people don't get stabbed? What do you prefer?
Police enforcement, duh. I mean, honestly, I just prefer having a gun. Like,
facts.
And that's part of why I moved to Texas. Represent. It's like so different because you go out in the street and you can't pull the kind of shit that you would in a normal city on people because everybody's got a gun. So you don't want to mess with people because you're going to be checked. It's not like people are going to be sitting and waiting for the cops to show up or whatever. Like if you fly your drone over someone else's backyard, they're going to shoot it down. So you don't want to be messing with people around here. And yeah, so buy a gun.
You probably should have come on the show with a "Don't Mess with Texas" t-shirt on then.
Oh yeah, I should have worn my cowboy hat.
Bryson, you're from North Carolina, is it?
Yes, sir. And I live in Tennessee now.
Oh, okay. What's like the worst city around there in that region, like violence-wise?
A lot of them. I grew up in High Point, North Carolina. Just to give you how crazy it is, they call High Point High Rack now. So if you understand what that terminology means, then you know how dangerous it is. But period, point blank. I'm from North Carolina. We all have guns there too. Not black families for some reason, but Tennessee they just passed constitutional carry, so I might be here for a while. You feel me?
But no income tax in Tennessee as well. Is that true?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And constitutional carry. They made the Bible the official state book. Come on now, stop playing. We out here, cuz.
Eric, is South Dakota treating you well safety wise?
Absolutely, and a lot of people do have guns. When I was early on in my first job, when I got here, I was in real estate, and we had to get some people out of one of these units. And what my manager said to me was like, "Oh, make sure you take one of I'm not going to say their names, but make sure you take this guy right here because he carries." So the point is, everybody carries. So if you're going to go knock on somebody's door and evict them, they're packing, you're packing. I wasn't at the time, but I am now. And that said, I was actually thinking about moving to Tennessee just because I do like it here. But I just need there's just not much going on, bro. I need like a little bit more to do, you know what I mean? But that's a personal tidbit. And just real briefly on the subway thing, another thing that I forgot to mention about New York is they're actually offering vaccinations at certain subway stops. So if you get off at, say, Herald Square, you can get a vaccination. And if you get a vaccination at a subway stop, they'll give you a 7-day Metro card. So the bribery and the coercion is just, I mean, after we hear the story about whatever state it was that was offering $1 million lottery tickets and all sorts of things, that should be a dead giveaway that maybe people don't really want this. And I guess these pharmaceutical companies are already all in. And of course, what we saw Joe Biden tweet, I think that was today. Was that earlier today? And we all know, of course, he didn't really tweet that. Somebody, one of his weirdo handlers decided that it was going to be a good idea for him to say, wear a mask or get like, dude, what?
Just for some more welcome to Canada stuff. You can't you got to do a gun course to buy a gun in Canada first, like an all-day course. You can't own tasers. You can't own stuff like that. I'm not sure about pepper spray. That might not be allowed either. But basically, you're not allowed to defend yourself. Another thing that might shock you guys is that if you have a gun license, and if you have a firearm and you want to take it somewhere, not only does it have to be in a locked case in your trunk of your car, you have to inform your local police when you're traveling and where you're traveling to when you leave your house with the firearm. So that's just the level.
Nah. Listen, I know how to fix violence. You ready for this? I don't know if you ever heard of Kennesaw, Georgia. But in Kennesaw, Georgia, you are required to have a gun in the household. And they rarely have murder. Like, murders just literally don't happen there because most people have robberies rarely happen because most people have a gun. So not only do I think we need to erase every gun law, I think able-bodied people in the homes should be required to have firearms, and that's how you fix. Hey, I'm running for president in 2028. Trust me. Bryson,
President 20. Oh, President 2028. Okay, so more Canadian stuff for you guys. We just entered, and I'll give you guys a break from being on there. We just entered a new lockdown, an extension, really, is what it is. So we're at a stay-at-home order, and that basically means you can't go out of your house for any reason that the government requires you to. So, like, you're allowed to go for walking your dog, groceries, stuff like that, to go to work, but they can technically ticket you if you're not out for a reason they like, especially if you're in a group. Doesn't apply to the Hamas protesters yesterday, by the way, for whatever reason. So they extended the stay-at-home order just today to go to June 2nd. So it's another like 3 weeks. And then they told us that this is for the province of Ontario, so like our state for the Americans. They told us that events, sports events, concerts, everything's canceled for the summer. So don't even worry about that. But if you're good, we might have somewhat of a normal July and August if you're good. And on top of that, they just canceled the AstraZeneca this week. So we're not allowed to use it for a first dose. So our premier, our governor, got the first dose of the AstraZeneca. He said today that without hesitation, he'd get it for the second dose, even though it's been banned for the first dose. So now they're going to take the 250,000 that they already ordered, because they got 250,000 more AstraZeneca vaccines already ordered. They're going to take those and they're going to mix and match them as the second dose for people who have had the other ones. So even though they've banned them for the first use, they're going to use them as the second use, knowing, and I'm going to do a video on this either tomorrow or early next week, knowing that when you mix doses of different vaccines, because obviously this is so bannable. One's mRNA, one's a traditional vaccine. When you mix them, the side effects triple. In one study that they showed, and I'll bring it up just so people don't think I'm lying. In one study, people showed that they had triple the amount of side effects than when you get the same vaccine the whole way through. So when you mix it, you get triple the amount. And I'll bring that up in a second. Bryson, what are your is there any pressure from local or state governments around where you live? And that goes to all three of you guys. You live in different places. Because every single day we're inundated here with if you're not getting the vaccine, you're not a good person.
Yeah, I mean, that's reality here too. I don't know if you saw Joe Biden tweet earlier, but he said basically either get vaxxed or wear a mask until you get vaxxed. And that's just a reality. Me, I'm an anti-vaxxer, anti-masker. So I'm not doing it regardless. I guess I'll be in the gulag, and I'll be the entertainment in the gulag whatever it's
Eric?
Yeah, it's everywhere now. It's not so bad here in South Dakota. It's not so bad. I do see it on television. They have like a couple commercials, but the difference between being here and being in New York is just night and day, bro. You can't walk one city block in New York. I mean, you see the propaganda graveyard, face coverings, mask, all that stuff. It's one after the other, and they of course they pull on the heartstrings, right? So it's like it's like a picture of a small family, do it for them. And it's like, and one thing that's incredibly infuriating is that I wish I should have sent this to you, but that clip of Andrew Cuomo suggesting, or maybe we talked about this a week or so ago, but there's a clip of Andrew Cuomo suggesting that there might be long-term lingering effects of the virus, completely ignoring the fact that we don't know anything about the long-term lingering effects from the juice. So, I mean, their gaslighting and their manipulation tactics are just astonishing. And I think it's going to end soon. I think not soon, but I think they're just going to lie, bro. I mean, out in California, they're saying 70% of adults have been vaccinated. So they've obviously they created this problem a long time ago, and they're gonna also sell us back the solution. So eventually, they're gonna come out and say, "Yeah, 300 million people have been vaccinated, and that's all but like 5 kindergartners, and it's safe now." So maybe you could take the mask off in July, but it's all made up, and there's no way for anybody like me or you to go double check that work. So hopefully,
yes, it is.
Wow, let's do it.
Eric, I think your mic's hitting your hoodie there. Pardes,
sorry.
In Texas, I know there's no mask mandate anymore, right? Are there still a lot of people wearing masks, and are stores still trying to require it, or has it mainly gone by the wayside?
There is no mask mandate, so a lot of people will refuse to wear a mask. Like if you go into Walmart or Target, like I see it all the time. Sometimes I just like don't care, but some places and most like bars and restaurants really don't care. Like nobody wears a mask. Nobody even brings a mask with them if they're going out. But some places will care. For example, like I have this aerial fitness class I go to, and
what does that mean?
It's basically like pole hoops and silks. So it's like a lot of circus and strip clubby stuff. And it's really hard to do in a mask, and they make us wear masks. Really, it's really not fun that way. And it's like you just have to have a mask the whole time. But that's just like a more progressive establishment, so they make you do it. But most people really don't care. And
go ahead.
Even at the grocery store, like whatever, no one cares.
Here's the thing about the mixing. A feeling of feverishness, for instance, was reported by 34% of those given a combination of AstraZeneca Oxford first, then Pfizer. More than triple the 10% of people who reported that reaction after getting 2 AstraZeneca shots. So even though like they've banned the AstraZeneca shot, they're mixing it with worse results. It's totally insane. And then the premier is on TV just being like, I'd get it without a second thought of it, you guys. And then for anybody who's wondering about the Joe Biden tweet, there it is. After a year of hard work and so much sacrifice, the rule is now simple. Get vaccinated or wear a mask until you do. Transitioning into Biden rebuilding parts of the wall. Now, there's been complaints. We'll go to Eric first on this one. The United States Army Corps of Engineers will start reconstruction on 13.5 miles of levee in Rio Grande Valley. The decision reportedly follows pressure from local residents and politicians to mend the incessant crossing surge. Now, Eric, with the idea in mind that they're also talking about reopening the pipeline that they canceled on day one, what other things can Biden go back on? Because is the economy not tanking? Is the inflation not insane right now? And gas shortages too?
Yeah, I mean, look, we all saw this coming, right? I mean, this was no surprise. And it's basically just because that's the point I've been trying to make, is that these people, they're not stupid. I truly consider them evil. And they just had to contradict Trump. They were just in such this weird I mean, quite literal Trump derangement syndrome, that anything he did, they had to go against. But lucky enough for them, they have the media covering for them at any given point. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people who don't remember things that happened last week, right? So, of course, they're not going to, it doesn't matter to them that Joe Biden ran on ending kids in cages, but then only expanded those cages exponentially. Nobody cares about that because I shouldn't say that. Loads of people do care about that. And I think, and I always keep a little bit of hope. I think I mentioned this when we had Patriot Jay on, is that I think every time they backtrack and they misstep and there's a clear blatant lie, that it wakes up a couple more people. Even now when they're saying, because remember, it wasn't that long ago that they were saying you should still wear a mask after you get vaccinated. And people were like, wait, why would I do that? So every time something like this happens, they have to backtrack. They have to do what actually makes sense. I'm hoping that it wakes people up. And so now we're going to, they have this gas crisis going on. They have all the inflation. So maybe they'll reopen the Keystone Pipeline to sort of maybe try to counteract the rising prices there. And of course the wall, which I think is a great idea, and I'm all for it. But it's like, dude, this is something that now you're only you're doubling your workload, right? So you stopped it. There's loads of stuff down there at the border that's just sitting there collecting dust. And now you have to start it all back up again, creating twice the amount of work, all because Orange Man bad. It's insane, bro.
And now I'm reading this thing here that the Michigan governor wants to seize the profits from a pipeline from the Great Lakes. Enbridge is actually an energy company from up here because we send all this oil to the U.S. to get refined. I'm not sure if this is the exact situation, but she basically wants to seize their profits if they don't stop sending oil. Bryson, during an oil shortage, is there any sanity to any of this stuff left at all? What do you think Biden could do to turn any of this around? Like, is there a gas shortage in your area?
There's a lot of people at the gas station. There's gas shortages everywhere. My tank already full, so I'm good. You feel me? But what Biden could do is just admit that the election wasn't what's the word I can use so you don't get banned off anything?
Cool. It wasn't cool.
It wasn't cool. It wasn't based. So what could happen is we could do it the right way and just get all these recounts started and end it fairly quickly, and put Trump back in his rightful spot as the president, and then we'll be fine. Trust me.
Biden's the greatest president of all time. Is that your is that your shirt that you're wearing? Is that your own merch?
No, this is not my merch. This is what's the pro-life company called? Oh man.
Live Action?
Yes, live action. Yes, this is their merch, and this is Tyler Bluntness merch.
Keep up the great work. No shot for me, please. Thank you, friends in Fishing with Paul. I'm rich with that super chat for sure, Eric. You get none of it. Pardes, what do you think is going to happen? You've only been in Texas for how long?
I'd say a few months.
Do you see things swinging Democrat out there where you are? Because everybody's saying, and I bring this up because oil and Texas and everything. Do you see it swinging the other way in the near future? Have you gotten a sense of the politics where you are as of yet?
Definitely maybe in Dallas, like in the city, because like a lot of people are moving in. It's becoming very metropolitan. I mean, it's always been like a city, but it's becoming more like everyone you meet is not from Dallas. They're from other states. But for the most part, the people I've been meeting are pretty conservative, and the lefties tend to actually be people that are from Texas, like natives, which is interesting. So I don't see it becoming a progressive state, at least for another like 10.
You guys have any comment on that? Because
I do.
Everybody says it's slowly turning. Democrats seem confident.
I'm coming from California and DC and New York City, by the way.
Okay, yeah.
I've never lived in a non-super blue state.
that there is a difference. Obviously, you're going coming from DC to Texas, but the truth of the matter is the country in itself is going more far left. Matter of fact, I'm going to take it even a step further. The Republican Party is going far left. So now this is not. It's rare to meet a conservative nowadays, which is what makes me. There are conservatives with MAGA hats on celebrating me getting banned on Instagram. Just to put things in perspective. For you.
Racists.
But yes, I think most things, period, are going left. So that includes Texas. That includes even when I drive around here sometimes, maybe not this city specifically, but the state of Tennessee. You drive around, you go to Nashville, you go to a lot of places, you're gonna be like, oh, I'm up out of here. And I've been to all of these states multiple times in the past 6 months. Everywhere is turning blue, including the Republican Party.
Absolutely.
Eric, you've been moving around a lot. You've been shopping, for lack of a better term. I'll tell my perspective on that in a moment. But what's your feeling on considering where to move in this instance?
Yeah, it's scary because everybody is going left, right? I mean, California, of course, that's where I'm originally from, going crazy, and now their Republican answer to it is Bruce Jenner, right? So that's an obvious hard lurch to the left, right? And then you have, of course, that B grade State of the Union thing where you have all the Republican members of politicians who are in there wearing masks, and that's a huge L that they're taking. Just the fact that they're sitting in there all 20 feet apart from each other with their little mask on also shows you that everybody's going left politically. But as far as places to be, I mean, to be honest with you, man, I was a little bit disappointed in Florida. Everybody talks about how free it was. Now, it's nice. It's definitely no New York City, but there were some silly rules. I mean, some very silly rules to get into a restaurant where you had to put the thing on to walk through the threshold of the door, which made no sense. It's like 85 degrees out there, and it's an outdoor restaurant, for the record. So this man wanted me to put a mask on to walk through this little gate on a patio of a restaurant. So that doesn't add up. And of course, the left already feels like they have the rights to Florida, right? It's a coastal city. They have Miami. The left is invading there heavily, probably just as much as they're invading Texas. Now, here in South Dakota, I don't think the left, they don't feel like they have ownership of the Midwest just yet, at least not here in South Dakota. But it'll happen. I went to Mike Lindell's thing about an hour away from my place out in Mitchell, where he did his little Frank speech thing. I actually have his book and his DVD. But there was one protester out of maybe 2,000, Lindell supporters, Trump supporters. There was one protester there, and he was against Governor Noem, who is not all she's cracked up to be as well, but she did good on the virus. So, that's a whole different story. But I think out of all the places I've been, drove all the way to Florida, drove all the way to California, saw all these states. Right now, this is still easily the best place, but that doesn't mean they're not coming for it and they're not going to eventually get it, especially if you have people in Congress and in the House who are still kowtowing to these stupid mask rules at a fake State of the Union.
I just want to say I had a speech in South Dakota, and there were like 15 Antifa protesters out there, and they all came from that college. It's called what's the college in South Dakota? They have like a gaming team and everything there.
South Dakota State?
No.
That's the only one I know. I'm sorry.
I'm not sure. Maybe universities. I don't know. But what city were you in?
I was in what's the one?
Rapid City.
Rapid City. Yeah.
Rapid City. Yeah, that's like a college town. So there's probably
South Dakota School of Mines and Technology.
Yes, there you go. That is it. That is the one.
Shit, I'm a good Googler.
And they did too. For the record, there was only a couple weeks ago, there was a protest against Governor Noem so that they could let boys into girls' sports. So they are here, but this is not. The one thing that you will notice is that they will talk to you. The people out in California, like I mentioned last week, they'll beat you over the head with a bike lock, or the people in New York will spray paint your face and attack you physically. I was like basically attacked by some antique when I was with. I don't know if you know Dion Cini. He makes the giant Trump flags. Anyways, yeah. Anyways, they surrounded us when I was out at their little protest, which was hilarious because they talked to me. They were like, "Hey, what's up, bro? You want to paint with us?" Until I asked them a question, and they flipped on me like a light switch they turned on me when they saw me talking to a guy in a red hat. But at least here, if you have 25 transgender advocates or whatever, which is super creepy because it was about kids sports. I mean, the level of creepiness is just through the roof. But they will at least talk to you. They don't shout you down with a bullhorn or throw things at you. So they're not quite as crazy. They're not quite as angry, but they're just as crazy.
They didn't throw anything at me, but only one had a conversation with me, and the rest of them was like, "Don't have a conversation with him. He's just trying to get some clips so he can post it on social media." I said, "I wouldn't be able to get clips if you actually knew what you was talking about, would I?" And but one of them did try to have a conversation,
which is maybe a little bit better than you might get in San Francisco or New York City, but it's not looking good, bro. It's not looking good.
If they extend this lockdown up here again, which I'm sure they will, there's no way they won't, because they still won't give any numbers as to where it all stops. This is now the point where I'm going to start looking to move. I've been saying it for a few months. Losing the summer again is going to be where I'm legitimately putting in calls to, maybe I'll call some real estate friends of yours, Eric. All right, Pardes, you're a realtor in Texas, right? I forgot about that.
Oh, you're in real estate too. Oh, nice.
Well, there you go. One of my friends is thinking about Tennessee, there, Bryson, because of that no income tax. Florida's too humid for me, and there's a lot of bugs. I went there to Disney World when I was a kid. Wasn't a big fan of the weather.
Texas.
That's the number one. Maybe I'll go work for InfoWars. No, I'm just kidding, guys. Now somebody's going to clip that. There's people who watch every video that I put out, and they do a podcast about it. It's weird. So they might clip that.
I love InfoWars, by the way.
Gotta have you.
We have the Blaze.
I'm a Blaze, InfoWars. I guess Crowder's on Blaze too as well. And I guess what was the name for this new group that they got?
The Riot Squad.
Yeah, the Riot Squad. Blaze TV's Riot Squad. If I was somebody like that, if I had my own network, I'd immediately be like, we are making a show called the Riot Squad featuring 5 of those people, and then they'll write an article being like, "See, guys, they were about it all the time." And oh my god, it's so insane.
It's crazy though that they're so angry about that, but imagine this, right? They wouldn't be able to call themselves that or call them that if there were no riots. I mean,
it's true. Remember the intellectual dark web thing that they came out with? I talked to Dave Rubin about this once. And it's like the mind map, because they've all been connected, and they used people argued that that's based on their metadata and who comments on which, and it's the thing is, they're lying. You don't get access to that data. YouTube doesn't give you access to anything other than the usernames of your subscribers. You can't just go on YouTube and figure out who all these people are you wanting to tell me that these people put in hundreds of hours of work into this? I don't believe it for a second. They just want, and now this is the new thing. There's here's a bunch of people, we don't like what they're saying. Let's put them into an article, and Billy and Sally, whoever wrote that, are the ones who are behind it.
But they're really just boosting their profile, right? I mean,
well, yeah, it makes them look cooler. Pardes, what went into you moving to Texas?
A lot of different factors, but I think the main one was that I set a goal for myself that I wanted to buy a house by the time I was 26, and it was approaching my 27th birthday, and I was like, I need to buy a house now. So I was living in DC, and between DC and LA, and there was no way I was going to buy a house in either of those places. And I had my eye on Texas for a while. I actually was also deciding between Texas, Florida, and South Carolina, Charleston, and went with Texas. And it was kind of like I didn't know a lot of people. I actually I barely knew anybody here, but I kind of just went with it and yeah, bought a house and got my real estate license, and I'm really glad I did it. I wouldn't have done it so easily.
Bryson, random question from the Carolinas. You know the rapper Blind Fury?
Yeah.
You need to make a song with him. I love that guy. Except he had a song with some guy who had beef with Tom McDonald. He called him racist for some reason. So I don't know.
You know what's funny? I had beef with Blind Fury on Twitter one time, a long time ago.
You had beef with a blind guy on Twitter.
Listen. So I asked questions. Everybody, there was a rumor going around that he wasn't actually blind. So I tweeted him and said, "Are you really blind? Like, what's going on?" And then he got offended by the question and started going in. And I was like, "Oh, just because you're blind, I mean, I'm about to let you just go in like that." So I'm responding, and we just going back and forth. And it was like the most funniest thing on Twitter. Also, did you see that? Did you see that Periscope chat? It said, "Because you're hateful, hate isn't welcome in the GOP."
Yeah, I try to make it so that people have to pay in order to get stuff read. So you just throw it out the water.
My bad.
I want to see if I can find that tweet really quick, Eric. When was the last time you had a beef? You need to be involved in more beefs.
No, I don't have any beef. I mean, I got blocked by Don Lemon. That's pretty much it. And Chris Cuomo. They both blocked me on Instagram, but no beefs. I get some trolls. You know what happens though is like I try to keep my mouth shut, but then I have to drop like a comment on like a big, like NBC New York or ABC New York. I have to drop like a comment. Or when that really flies under the radar, that's just awful grade A propaganda is the San Francisco Chronicle. I mean, these people are pumping out absolute nonsense. And if you could say something as simple as, I'm not even exaggerating here. You could be like, I think it's silly to wear a mask outside, and they will swarm you. People who listen to this propaganda will swarm you like, I hope you die, and all sorts of things. So no beef really, but it's like, bro, you say something like I think, and also I'm noticing that the word scumbag triggers the algorithm. Like if you call Gavin Newsom, who is actually a scumbag, if you just put the word scumbag in his comments, it'll be like, it gives you that little notification. This comment.
I can't find anything with Bryson and Blind Fury. Maybe.
Oh, bro, that was like one of my old Twitters like 10 years ago.
That's disappointing. I was listening to one of his ciphers last night. You guys need to hook up for a track. You guys
squash
say
the beef.
You guys say equally as vulgar things, though.
I am not vulgar. Listen, I am the least vulgar person ever. I'm controversial because I just say what's actually on my mind. But I don't even curse.
I didn't mean it in that way. I mean, yeah, controversial is a better way. His lyrics are basically like a 1999 Eminem sort of thing. So
wait, so it's like grimy stuff. Like, I mean, 1999 Eminem was like pretty,
just in the fact that he'll talk about like incest and rape and stuff like that.
All right.
He's one of the 2 reigning champions of all time on 106 in Park Freestyle Fridays. If you're not aware, how impressive am I right now?
Fun fact. I was on 106 in Park when I was 16, and I was on there multiple times. I used to be in a rap group. We used to get like 10,000 plays on MySpace per day, and it was like,
what was this rap group called?
336 Boys with a Z. And 336 Boys with a Z. I used to make a lot of degenerate music. I used to be degenerate. Like, not even that logo. We kept making music until like in my early 20s, and I'm only 29.
So is 106 in Park? Is that still going on? I mean, 106 in Park.
I don't know.
I know you also watch Uncut too. I know you like BET Uncut as well, Andrew.
when I was like 14, Eric.
Facts.
Is this you?
Yes, that's what YouTube wasn't even super popping like that.
58,000 views. That's nothing to joke about.
That song was one of the most popular songs in North Carolina.
Eric, to your question, the guy from 106 in Park, my buddy's girlfriend and my girlfriend watch some like one of those reality shows where it's like your exes come or something. He's the host of like an MTV dating show now. The host, I forget his name, of 106 in Park.
AJ?
Most recent.
Yeah, was it AJ or they had like the new guy, the new Terrence or something.
Terrence
is the new guy. AJ's the original.
Yeah, Terrence from my area.
Okay.
All right. Well, he gets mad at people sometimes. It's funny. Let's pay some of the bills before we go. We got Bryson's backup account. Bryson Creates 2. You guys need to go follow. He's still at 30K, which is nothing to sweat about either, but 250K. And then, of course, on YouTube, 148,000. I'll go ahead and full screen this for you guys.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
False Teachers is the most recent music video, I think, but you still got your live streams going there. Pardes, she's got her YouTube channel. She live streams from it a lot, and then we can pull up her Twitter as well. It's not linked there. It usually has the logo. Get on that, Pardes. But of course, she's going 60 strong there. My show that aired tonight is with a 3-time X Games gold medalist who's against lockdowns. He gets in altercations for not wearing a mask because he's got an exemption. Really cool guy, Cody Matichuk, rebelnewsplus.com. If you guys want to go watch that, he's way cooler than me. As you can see, he's got huge sponsors with Monster Energy. Eric's book.
Yes,
called
sir.
New York City 2020 Gotham Unglued, with my favorite photo of all time, the guy in the garbage bag. Is he dead or alive? Nobody knows. People sleeping on the subway, and then corpse or tires. I don't know. And then, of course, Bryson Gray is a white nationalist as well. We can't forget that.
Yes, sir.
All right. Last words from everyone. Eric, you go first.
Well, of course, buy the book. Thank you for the plug, as always. But I just want to say real briefly, right? I mean, think about how much chaos we're actually dealing with right now. I mean, we didn't even get to like the gas stuff. We didn't get to talk about Caitlyn in California. I mean, the list of things that is happening just keeps on piling up. And here we are. Stock market crash. They're bad-mouthing crypto. Everything is happening all at once. And we just got to, I guess, just take it one day at a time. But certainly go out and grab that book, because no coffee table is complete without it. So that's all I got.
Very true. Coffee table book on coffee tables. Bryson, the ban, are you emotionally affected by it? Is it gonna propel you to greater things? Tell us.
Listen, this is a jungle and I'm always the lion. So I think everybody should remember that. But
There's something racist about that. I'll figure it out what it was.
My message to everybody is take off the mask, say no to the vaccine, take your kids out of these indoctrination programs, because nothing will change until we stand up. Listen, I've missed out on like $50,000 this year because I have not gotten on a plane. I have not put on the mask since I refused to. And in return, I missed out on money, which is a trade I am willing to make. The ban is just part of it. I knew me getting banned was coming at some point. Come on. I go in on the most feared mafia in the country, which is the LGBT mafia. So, just stand on your belief system and continue doing it regardless.
Absolutely.
And he wonders why he gets banned. No, a man of principle. I'm okay with his standing on his principle. Watch his episode on my show, you guys, just so you know. Pardes, what's going on with you? What's your message to the people of Canada, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, move to Texas. One thing I'll say is, like, so much has happened that this past year. And one thing that has really kept me feeling strong and stable is like getting into real estate and owning your own, like, any kind of land or property or whatever can bring such a huge relief to your mental health. And I'm not just saying this as like a realtor, but in general, like in my personal life, it feels really amazing to have to kind of like have your own place and feel stable in it. So that's just one, I guess, like piece of advice I would give to people my age is start buy land.
Are we telling people your age, or is that?
Oh, I'm 27. But I mean, any age is good. But just I know a lot of people in their 20s are kind of like moving around all over the place, especially with COVID. People are like very unstable and living on their friends' couches. So
I'm 19, you guys. I can't relate, so it is what it is. Bryson believes me. All right, thanks a lot, you guys. Thanks for being here. Go subscribe to Bryson's backup account. Go buy Eric's book. Go buy a house from Pardes. Watch my show on rebelnewsplus.com. Thanks for the thousands of people. It seems weird to say that watch on Twitter. YouTube is very censored, so obviously we don't expect much from them, but we hope to keep growing with you guys. And that's basically it. Anything else to say, Eric?
Nope. Buy crypto.
All right, thanks, you guys.
All right, man.